What's up everyone, you join me for E30 Diaries Part 3, and I've had this car for a few weeks now, so I've sort of been daily driving it, done about 2,000 miles, and I've mentioned it if you've watched your previous videos that the caster was the main issue that was bugging me. As you can see, the wheel doesn't really sit central in the arch, and this is a result of doing an E36 5-stud swap, so the hubs and brakes and suspension, everything is from an E36. There's multiple reasons why you might want to do this: bigger brakes, different suspension, different geometry. You might want to run E46 arms if you're into camber, or more lock for drifting. As I say, if you're watching this, you're probably wondering why the caster is an issue. Basically the geometry is a little bit different of these hubs and arms, and it leaves the car looking a little bit like this. And also driving at speed, its caster is like, if you imagine the angle of the struts pointing forward, it'll give you a more stable feel at speed, whereas if they're upright, imagine like a bike head tube with really steep angle, it's going to be really unstable at speed. That's sort of a simple way of explaining it, but basically I want to fix the caster, and I've got some parts which I'm going to show you right now. There are a number of ways apparently you can achieve the correct caster. Some say that you should use E36 M3 hubs and arms and some different amalgamation of parts, but I came across a company called SRS Concepts, and they have this solid brass low control arm bush which they've revised the geometry on, and this hopefully will correct the caster. Just a little bit of news before I pull this car inside and put it on the lift. You might notice this is not my unit. The unit that me and Liam have, we're actually getting 2 lifts installed, which is something I'm really happy about, and I just want to say thank you to David, because it's a lot easier to do this stuff on a lift, and I don't know, I don't really want to film and lay on the floor and do stuff. It just doesn't really come across well in videos. So once our lifts are installed, David, I won't hassle you anymore, but thank you. So what you're looking at here is the OEM bushes, sometimes referred to as lollipop bushes for obvious reasons. It should be a relatively straightforward job to swap these, and to be honest you could do it on the drive at home, but I think for purpose of the video it's easier to just sort of do it on a lift and show you. Okay, so as a new versus old comparison, you can see obviously this is a large rubber bush and these are solid brass. The reason you would do this, really, under compression and steering, your geometry will change with the rubber bush. Obviously it's a little bit more forgiving for a road car, but you will find that if you imagine the arm pivoting and moving in this, you will get geometry changes under compression, and especially with steering. So this should feel a lot more direct and a little bit less forgiving. I imagine there might be a little bit of vibration, but we will find that out on the road test. It's the little pieces like this that make a difference when you buy something. Spring washers, doesn't really cost any much extra, but a lot of places do not include things like this. It stops the bolts from vibrating out, and it's just a nice touch when you buy something, it's good. So as you can see, the car is now back on its wheels, so it didn't really take that long, if I'm honest, and I thought it'd be easier to do this in the time lapse because I'm doing the job by myself, and it's really easy to do, if I'm honest. It's not something you'd need a great deal of explanation of how to do it. You just remove 4 bolts, take off the old bushes, clean it up a little bit, fit the new ones. As far as the product goes, on first impressions, I'm impressed with it. It's well machined, it's nicely put together, and as I mentioned, like high tensile Allen bolts and, you know, spring washers and just little details like that, and the circlips it's all decent quality stuff, and to me that's like, it's pretty important if you're going to buy something. So more importantly, let's get the car out and see what it looks like, but then we'll go for a little drive, because the driving dynamics are the real reason that I did this. I mean, yeah, it did look a little bit odd, but like, it's really more about the drive. I hope the audio is okay, but basically I did a quick turnaround in the car park, and actually the wheels are catching on full lock. You might have just heard it a little bit there. I think the issue with this really is that this car has larger wheels than it's supposed to. 17s with this tyre size, the rolling radius is slightly bigger than what it should be for the car, so I think that's the main issue, to be honest. So I think if you had the normal wheel size, it wouldn't catch, because it sort of only just touches. It's not a major deal at the minute. To be honest, at the minute I might just remove the arch liners until I find what wheels I want, because I do plan to change them eventually anyway. As I said, I'm pretty impressed, and I mean, we need to get on a bit of a better road than this to just sort of test the car out, so I'll catch up with you in a minute. So already the car feels way more sure-footed than it did before. I'm really happy with this already. As I mentioned, there's some rubbing issues which need to be resolved, but it's definitely a lot more confidence inspiring than it was before, because I'll be honest, it felt a little bit wobbly, and this just feels how it should. I still think I'll definitely do the purple tag steering rack, because the steering feels great now, nice and balanced like an E30 should be, but it's just that little bit slower than some of the newer cars, and the purple tag rack worked great in my last one, and the car just feels so much better. This product definitely gets a thumbs up. I can't fault it really. As I mentioned, the rubbing issues are just, you know, the wrong size wheels, so you can't really complain if they rub. I'll try to resolve it, but we'll see. The caster, I mean, I don't know if it's just me, it actually kind of looks like slightly forward now, but it drives way better. I mentioned about the sort of changes in geometry as the suspension moves and as you turn the steering wheel. It feels a lot more direct, and a lot like the inputs, you don't get sort of that on centre where you have to load it up as much, and it works really well. I'm really happy with it, and I didn't really notice a massive difference in ride quality, if I'm honest. Maybe slightly harsher on bumps, but you know, it's not really the biggest deal in the world. SRS Concept actually do a full kit, so if you're interested in like a 5-stud swap, I think if I'd done this myself, I'd definitely have just bought their kit, because it just makes life so much easier, and you can fit the compact rear brakes and the E36 brakes, and you can have such a better braking setup. So this has been E30 Diaries Part 3. If you like this, obviously hit the like button, subscribe and all the other stuff. I'd be interested, like, what do you think I should do next? What's the next thing to address? I don't really want to jump straight into the engine swap. I'm probably leaning towards doing the steering rack next. There is a little bit of rust to repair and a few other bits and bobs, so I don't know, let me know, what do you think? Yeah.